It is one more day, one more time again for the Uncomfortable Truth. I'm your host, Mr. Mark McBride. I appreciate everybody that's coming in and everybody that will watch later. For everybody that's coming on for the first time, please, please, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if you got something you would like for me to stop and talk about at any time, go ahead and don't be afraid to drop that super chat. And I got other individuals on TikTok right now, and I know that they're going to come over and join the show here on YouTube. That is the Atlanta Cast Network, The Uncomfortable Truth. Atlanta Cast Network, The Uncomfortable Truth. There's going to be a couple of shows live on the network tonight. They are growing. We are growing. We are growing. But if you are looking for my show, it is the one highlighted in green, and it is The Uncomfortable Truth. I have a whole bunch of guests coming on tonight to talk about tonight's topic. And before we get into that, I got some information today, and it's pretty breaking news. And I want to talk about that before we get on tonight's subject. But before I do that, I will tell you what tonight's subject is. And it is, why do we ignore male sexual assault? Why do we ignore male sexual assault? I have a few videos, and I have, like I said earlier, I have guests that are coming up to talk about this, and we've been talking about this majority of the day today on a friend of mine's show, Peter Anderson, who was taking the place for Mr. Laura, who was on vacation on TikTok. And we've been talking about breaking barriers, not respecting male and female barriers, and why is that? Why is it okay for each gender to do so? But before I get too deep into it, I want to go ahead and cover this breaking news. Operator, if you could please play that video, please.
Now we are seeing the clearest signs yet that the United States and China and Russia are headed for a hot war. 3 huge pieces of news that are frankly scary as hell, that are being done in relative secrecy, and we should all be paying attention to. We'll get into these news items in a moment, but first, here's Forbes magazine. This week, is the U.S. headed for an all-out war with China? And they're asking this question because we are at a tipping point moment, and some very dangerous things are unfolding. And by the way, make no mistake about it, a war with China and Russia would be an absolute catastrophe, because at worst, it would end humanity with a nuclear war, and at best, it would send us back into the dark ages. No electrical grids, no internet, no functioning satellites, basically. And these morons in Washington, D.C. seemed hell-bent on making this happen. Back in January, something happened that got almost no media attention. It was done quietly, in Japan even. The Japanese government started paying fishermen to stay away from one particular small island that was close to China. Here's what happened.
Japan's defense ministry began construction of a new base on Mageshima, an island in southwestern Japan, on January 12. Ministry staff and construction workers took a boat to the uninhabited island. The base will also be used by the U.S. military for training.
Oh, the U.S. is coming. According to the Japan Times, the U.S. just took a huge leap closer to China's doorstep. Instead of doing military drills 1,000 miles away on that other island, now they can do them straight up China's ass without having to use mid-air refueling to do it. That was 9 months ago. Then, as we reported this week, the Biden administration is laying the groundwork for bringing back the military draft for young men in the United States. That's right. This is not a fantasy. According to the documents from the U.S. Army War College's plan, they predict that the United States will lose 3,600 soldiers per day in casualties when we start fighting China and Russia. And they say we need the draft now because we won't be able to replace those kinds of numbers without it. Taking 3,600 people per day and throwing them into the meat grinder. They admit this right in black and white, right in their documents. And members of Congress are calling for it. Everything that we're seeing over the past few weeks is coming to a boiling point. It all started in earnest, though, over 10 years ago during the Obama administration in an effort to strangle China. Of course, it goes back much longer than that.
We can see that China is the basic cause of all of our troubles in Asia.
But it really ramped up under Obama in 2015, when it was clear that China would become America's biggest economic and strategic threat. when China announced its Belt and Road Initiative, its partnership with the Middle East, with the rest of Asia to build roads and bridges and trade. Obama then went into high gear. Journalist John Pilger even predicted it and documented it in his amazing documentary, The Coming War on China, where he shows how America's goal is to cut off China's lifeline to oil, gas, and raw materials, strangling China economically, while at the same time surrounding China militarily, building over 400 military bases surrounding China.
While we're playing around on TikTok, having our fun, they're preparing to draft your son. While we're playing around on TikTok, having our fun, they're preparing to draft your son. First time, and I want you to look this up. Don't ever believe what I say. Fact check me, please. This is the first time in recorded history that the United States Marine Corps, the United States Air Force, the United States Army, and the Space Force, the Navy, Coast Guard, have all missed its recruiting mission. First time ever.
Message.
You might want to start looking this up. First time ever. And it's not because young men don't want to join. It's because they can't. They're overweight and they're undereducated. Too many video games and Cocoa Puffs and Cookie Crisp. So you know what that means, ladies? You next. Next man up. This is not a game. I received that information, and as I was fact checking it, I was like, wow, this has absolutely nothing to do with the subject tonight, but I had to put it out there. I had to put the information out there. You need to start doing your own research. You need to start sitting down and having serious conversations with your family and your children and your sons, because this isn't going away. With that being said, we're going to move on over to tonight's subject. I hope I didn't scare anybody off, but you know, when I hear news, I feel like it's my job. It's a necessity to talk about the uncomfortable truth. This is what this show is about. And as we go into tonight's subject, which is, why do we ignore male sexual assault? Why do we ignore male sexual assault? I had a conversation earlier this week where I put the topic up saying, every man that was intoxicated and had sex is a victim of SA. Just to put a teaser out there, just to see what people would say. And the remarks were disgusting, to say the least. These individuals, men and women included, laughed, giggled, made remarks I can't even say just because of the gender. Now, if I would have said it any other way, like, okay, every woman who had sex that was intoxicated in any way is a victim of SA. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. No shit. Exactly. But when I say it about men, it's a laughing matter. Well, tonight, that's exactly what we're going to talk about, because it starts all the way down as when we are children. When we are children, as young boys and young girls, we are all talked to by our parents the exact same way. Make sure you tell mommy if somebody touches your special place. That's your private place. Nobody's allowed to touch that but mommy and daddy, okay? You tell your boys and you tell your sons the exact same thing. And then all of a sudden, age changes. Girls grow up to be 13, boys grow up to be 13. And mothers and fathers look at their children differently. When you're talking to your daughter, you're still telling her the same thing. If anybody ever touches you inappropriately, you know to trust me and to talk to me about that, right? Don't allow older men to try to try to talk you into consuming alcohol so they can take advantage of your body, right? But what are the conversations you're having with your son? Are you sitting your sons down and telling them the exact same thing, or are you telling them to wrap it up?
Amen to that shit.
Because through my studies and through my talks, that's what I've heard over and over and over again. Well, he's a boy. He's the one that we have to worry about doing the assaulting, not getting assaulted, right? Hell, it's so common. We're watching it in our movies. We're watching it in our music. We're watching it in videos and we're laughing. Don't believe me? Well, let's take a trip down memory lane. Operator, if you could play that first video.
Help, dude. Hey, dude, what are you doing to her, dude? Oh my God, bro, dude.
Are you lost?
Stifler's mom. No, not lost. Just, taking the tour. Hey, thank you for letting us have this wonderful party.
As if there was an alternative in the matter. So you enjoying yourself?
3 sheets to the wind, man.
I'm so happy for you. But it takes the edge off, doesn't it? So where's your little date tonight?
Oh, no date. It was a bathroom incident.
Pardon me?
Never mind. You have anything to drink?
I believe the kegs are upstairs.
That is what the Cretans drink. I'm talking about alcohol, liquor, the good stuff.
All right. I got some scotch.
Single malt?
Aged 18 years. The way I like it. Why don't you go grab a glass from the bar?
I think I should. Allow me. So I said, this is very obviously a Piero della Francesca. So, would you object if I said that you were quite striking?
Mr. Finch, are you trying to seduce me?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
You're dead.
Door locked. Mom, where's... Mom? Shipwreck?
Oh, hey, Stifler.
Cut that bitch off!
Fucking hilarious, right? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take that exact same scene and I want you in your own mind, switch the genders. There's a 45-year-old man hosting a party for his daughter's graduation. Shit! One of his daughter's friends happens to make herself down to the basement where the pool table is. And he asks her, would she like a drink? And then tells her, well, I like my scotch aged 18 years. You know, that's how I like it. Predator, right? Cringe, right? All the little phrase words you like to say, right? See, that's the society that men grow up in. We can't be a victim. Hell, if a grown woman touches us, we're lucky, right?
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
We're fucking lucky, right? Wow. Thank God this old decrepit woman put herself on me. This geriatric vagina I now have access to. I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm not. I just want you to think about it from the victim's mindset. An 18-year-old, a 19, 17-year-old. How old are kids when they graduate high school now? 17? Just about to turn 18? But that's hilarious. I could have went and picked 3 other movies. And then we wonder why we got grown adult men fucked up in the mind. Operator, if we have any guests backstage, let's go ahead and bring them up. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Now, I know you are a mother of sons.
I am.
And I'm going to ask you, and I need you to be brutally honest.
Yep.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
When you talk to your daughters, when it comes to the possibility of anybody ever touching her or anybody ever doing anything to her, I want you to think about what was the message you had to your sons once they became 12, 13. Are you still talking to your boys and saying, hey, if somebody touches your pee-pee, if somebody touches your private area, I want you to tell mom? Or was you talking more about condoms? Go ahead.
I definitely was not talking about condoms because I didn't expect them to be doing anything at that age. But to me, they're always going to be my baby. So I still have this conversation. Now that they're older, now that they're 17 and 16, I definitely have that conversation. But yeah, it's obviously changed from don't touch your no-nos to it's still statutory rape. It's still a predator if someone who is old enough to be your mom or someone who is not in your age group is pursuing you. So the conversation has changed due to, the age, obviously. But no, the message is still the same because a predator is a predator to me. That's how I view it.
Now, today we were on live. Miss Matt. Hey, I need a round of applause for Miss Matt. I mean, welcome Miss Matt to the show, y'all. This is a hometown favorite on TikTok. Man, this is the first time we've ever got to meet each other face to face. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Great, great.
You know what? Nobody gets me on camera, so this is a first.
I appreciate it. She's coming up and supporting.
I have my friend in the comments. The 4 boys. She's supposed to be sending a request to come up. Her name is Olandra, but she's not like that other Olandra.
Okay, great. So we're gonna talk more about it. So as we progress through this show, we're gonna go all the way up to manhood, but we're starting off right now as children, as boys, and the problems and the issues and the situations and circumstances that boys are running into. But I believe, are not properly preparing our sons. Because we don't look at our sons as possible victims. I just don't believe that. Even as parents, we do not treat our boys as if they could be a victim. And when a boy talks about, we just had Miss Matt, you was there on the live. We had a grown man who was touched at 11 years old. This just happened, 2 hours ago, Miss Matt?
Yes.
Shit. A grown man who was touched and had sex with his teacher at 11 years old on a playground on a swing, and proceeded to tell us how he was not a victim because he liked it.
Mm-hmm. And he told us off about it.
Got mad. How dare you? Those weren't the words he was using, but he was extremely offended,
irritated.
irritated that we could call him a victim or say that he was a victim of domestic violence or sexual assault. So, with that being said, how many times have you went to your son and asked him, has he had sex with any adult women? And I want that answer from any woman that's in the chat, on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube. I want that answer now. Put it in the chat. How many women have actually went and talked to their sons about having sex with women over the age of 21?
Do you have anybody that's trying to come up?
Let me operator, do we have anybody else that's trying to come up?
Nope.
No, we do not.
Okay, because I was trying to get my friend to come on here.
Well, hey, operator, if you could, can you please put the link to join in the chat, please? One more time, because we have somebody trying to get in here. So, have either one of you ever had that specific conversation with a young boy?
Yes, I have.
How did that go?
Well, they don't see anything wrong with it. They kind of think it's funny when you're talking to them about it. And I just had to express the seriousness of that. This is a violation of your innocence, and it's a no. It's a no. Now, also, my question to them was, have your parents discussed this with you? Has your father discussed this with you about how this is a violation of your space and your innocence?
Nope.
And most of the time when I've had that discussion with them, they tell me no.
Okay, Tawanda?
So like I said, I definitely have had the conversation because my older son told me one day that this lady stopped and asked if he would like his hair in locks, and just one of his friend's moms, and she gave him his number. I mean, gave him her number. And
wait. How old was your son when this happened?
15. He was 15 then. He's 17 now. He was 15 when this happened. So I explained to him, one, she should have asked for your mom's number. You have your mom's number. You know, every kid has a cell phone. She should have asked for your mom's number. It is inappropriate for any grown woman to give you her number in any situation, unless she talked to me and I said it was okay for you to have a conversation with her. Because like I said, at the end of the day, a predator is a predator. It has no gender. It only has an agenda. So yeah, I have had the conversation with them, and their dad, like you said, their dad has not. And for him, I could see him not handling it the same way because of the macho man mentality. But no, it's still not. It's not okay.
So can I ask you a question? I'm gonna ask all this question. Why do mothers think that's cute when their friends say, "Oh, he's growing up something handsome. Oh, you turn out to be a fine young man." When these women make these inappropriate comments to your teenage son, and it's because it may be her auntie or her cousin or your girlfriends. Why do we not chastise them for that?
I don't know. Like I've had my friends say that my sons are handsome. Okay, and they are. But I've never had a friend go anywhere else with it or even give an innuendo or sound creepy or sus or whatever.
Now wait. Let's switch it up. Let's say I'm just a friend of the family and I come up to you and I'm like, man, your daughter cute.
Yeah, I don't like that tone. I don't like none of that.
Wait. Okay, so
if you said your daughter, I think your daughter's beautiful, or your daughter's beautiful.
No. You heard how I said it. You heard exactly how I said it.
Cute. She fine. No. She turned out to be
that's how they say it about the boys. They don't be like, oh, he's so cute. No. Not when he's a teenager. They're like, oh, girl, your son fine.
No. See, if it was not presented that way. If it was presented that way, because I will fight somebody. I'm not gonna fight anybody actually, but my babies are still my babies. They're always gonna be my babies. So you won't be around anymore. Like I'm not gonna keep anybody around who makes my kids feel uncomfortable or who I can't trust with my children to look at them like children, because they are children. So yeah, that's a no for me. So if you say, "Oh, your son's handsome," okay, thank you. I'd appreciate that. I appreciate that. But
Oh,
your
girl,
son
he
fine.
fine.
Yeah, we got a problem, Steve. We got
See,
a real
and
problem.
the reason why I'm talking about this today is because throughout the last week and a half of me talking about this on TikTok, the responses that I've heard from mothers and adult male victims has been astounding. It's sad because every time I bring up a scenario where it involves a boy, it gets almost no emotion, little to no emotion at all. Okay, hold on, y'all. We got a super chat from Laugh or Learn Kev. Appreciate it, sir. Let's go. Like what y'all see, share and get the likes up. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody on TikTok, could y'all come over to the YouTube? Make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Appreciate that. Laugh and Learn. Hey, just so y'all know, if you send a super chat, I have to stop whatever I'm doing and give that some love. Okay, moving back to what I was saying. What I need you, what I have learned through talking to individuals on TikTok is that it gets little to no emotion when it's a male or a boy. I literally said that every woman, well, you know what? I'm going to say that. Miss Met, you asked me a question on TikTok and I told you to save it.
Mm-hmm.
Say that question again.
Why don't fathers have this conversations with their sons?
And the reason why I asked you to save that question is because the entire time I've been talking on this, on all platforms, nobody's ever said that. And the reason why is because they were victims too. How can I, as a father, warn my son against something that I don't see is wrong? How can I, as a father who also was touched and had sex with older women when I was a young boy, by somebody in my family, by somebody at the church, by somebody who was my boss at work, by somebody on the AAU team, somebody's wife that was going with us on the AAU trips while we were in hotel rooms at 13, 14, and 15 years old playing basketball? That's goddamn right. You would never think and you would never believe that your little boy's penis was being played with by grown-ass women while he was going on those basketball trips. Because you thought, hey, it's just all men, all boys. No, some of the coaches' wives came. Some of the other kids' mothers came. And guess where they stayed? In the same damn hotel as us. Same goddamn hotel. I knew a boy who was having sex with one of the substitutes in the school in the bathroom.
So they send the girls on trips supervised, but the boys can go on trips unsupervised, right?
Oh, of course. I have never, ever seen any chaperone, any parent, any mother, anybody ever come on any AAU trip ever.
Nope.
And we were going to several states. So as kids, as men, the reason why you said that and the reason why, you know what? Just like everybody got mad at Boosie, because what did he do with his child? Had his son be with that damn prostitute, right? The reason why he didn't see it as something wrong, because guess what? He probably did it too. This is generation after generation after generation of men being assaulted by grown women, and we thinking we got lucky.
It creates boys that become men that are promiscuous.
We don't know. You've never even warned us.
And that's the thing. The conversation never even happened in the first place. Because if they're, we're always looked at as moms, right? We're lioness, we're protective, mama bear. But if their fathers are having this conversation, then it lets them know it's not a gender mentality anymore. It changes it. But the generation curses have to be broken, and it has to come with change and actually teaching your children.
All the channels that you know that exist, all the TV shows that you know that exist, all the social media platforms that you know that exist. Have you ever heard this subject?
No.
So I actually just did the first time ever. It was on Love is Blind.
Give a round of applause for our new guest. What's going on, DJ That Way? Hello, and Alondra.
That's my friend Alondra.
How you doing? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Mrs. Alondra, am I saying your name right? Alondra. I can't hear you. I still can't hear you.
Check your mic. Your mic. Okay, go ahead. Can't hear you.
Take your earphones out and say something. Maybe it's your headpiece that's not working.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. My mic speaker not working.
We can hear you now.
No.
Turn it back the other way.
I can't hear you now. She's trying to use a speaker. That's the reason why.
Take it. How you had it before. We can hear you now.
That's why I'm trying to
hear you now.
Oh, so you can't hear us now. I can hear you.
Let me just turn my volume up. I think I can hear you. Okay, go ahead. I'll see if I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I can hear you.
Go ahead.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear him?
Hey, Mark, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Everybody's good. Okay,
All right,
so I'm gonna come over to you in just a second, but let me finish this thought. We just had an entire adult man on another platform argue with us for over almost an hour about how he can't be a victim. It's impossible for him to be a victim because he liked it. So that's the reason why I believe fathers are not getting in the mindset to sit down with their sons and say, hey, if a woman that's older than you, significantly older than you, tries to talk you into some type of sexual encounter, that's wrong. Don't do it. Don't encounter it. Contact me. Let me know. But guess what? I guarantee you, watch this, ladies. Every man that's watching this show right now, type the word yes in the comments if you ever had a sexual encounter with an adult woman when you were a child. And when I mean child, I mean still in school. Watch this. Just watch the comments. Watch the comments. If y'all, I don't know if y'all can see them. Go ahead that way.
Oh, I was just joining the survey because I ain't feel like typing.
Oh, okay. Listen, it's almost a automatic. It's almost an automatic thing. Like if I was in a group of men,
it's almost like a rite of passage.
Yeah. Listen, it would be strange if we had a man say no. That would be the strange thing. If I'm sitting in a room full of men and I wouldn't say, hey, raise your hand if it happened. I would say, tell your story.
Facts.
And this is the real life. This is the world that y'all don't give a fuck about. And I'm saying it just like that because if we gave a fuck about it, why would a man that ain't never gave birth to nobody, ain't never had a child pass through me ever, why would I be the one that's yelling and screaming about this? Why wouldn't there be a mother? Why wouldn't there be a mother somewhere that has had her son that it actually happened to come out and be an advocate so other mothers will be talking to their sons and we don't have grown-ass men fighting us about how he can't be a fucking victim?
I just want to know why ain't a movie called How Stephen Got His Groove Back?
Because that would be sick.
I'm just saying.
I have that conversation.
Let's think about it.
Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead. I know that you, Miss Matt brought you on, said you have 4 sons. Is that correct?
I have 5 boys.
I can't hear you.
Turn it back up.
I have 5 boys.
5.
From the ages of 26 down to 16.
Okay, and with your 16-year-old, Have you ever sit down with your 16-year-old and said, I need you to let me know if any woman over the age of 20, 21, whatever you deem to be inappropriate, if she ever tries to have, okay, go ahead.
I sat down with all my boys and I had that conversation because I feel that conversation is necessary. We shouldn't just have that conversation with girls. I had that conversation with my boys because I was standing not too far from I think it was my 26-year-old. He's 26 now, but at the time he was 13. And there was a 40-year-old woman who was trying to talk to him. And she was trying to give him her number. And I walked over and I said to her, ma'am, he's a child. She said, well, he doesn't look like a child. I said, he's 13. So she and I had some words, and I was not nice. And I called her a pedophile. And I explained to my son that it is not okay to sleep with a grown woman at the age of 13 and 14. And I explained the other ramifications of mentally, it messes you up. It causes the child to grow up way faster than he should. Then the parents start having issues. The child don't want to listen. I mean, it's so many things that could go wrong with that situation. All of my boys, except for my fourth one, he hasn't. But most of my boys have been approached by grown women.
Now, let me say that same sentence about a daughter. And I just want to let y'all feel what it sounds like to the opposite sex. Now, say to me, hey, that's my daughter. Well, she don't look like a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Are you just talking to me? No, we calling the police. We calling the police because it isn't.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I did do that. Don't get me wrong. I did do that. I'm one of these.
Now, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you because I'm talking about in general. Because in general, majority of the time, hell, we got teachers. Miss Met talked about it earlier. We got teachers who are literally getting prosecuted right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's already 38 this year. 38 female teachers who have been caught and charged and now being prosecuted for having sexual encounters with underage boys. And guess what? Not one of them, not one, are going to be charged with statutory rape.
And check this out. Most of those boys,
and they should be getting charged because it's wrong.
And check this out, Tawanda. Some of those women have had babies from these boys, 12 and 13 years old.
She going to jail.
No,
she going to jail or agree.
Not only is she not going to go to jail, but when he turns 18, he's got to pay child support.
Mm-hmm.
That's the uncomfortable truth. I can grape.
So I say go.
Hear this. I can grape a little girl and then make her pay me for the baby that I stole from her body for the rest of that child's life.
So I said, go ahead and beat her tail.
Yeah, I'm gonna whoop her. Regardless. I'm gonna do that.
What kills me is, and I'm sorry, I don't want anybody to get mad at me, but fuck it, I gotta say this shit. As soon as there is a man, accused, not even proven yet, just accused of touching a little girl, as a nation, as a society, we rise up and we crucify him. Rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Cosby, rightfully so. R. Kelly, rightfully so. If you assault a woman sexually in any kind of way, fashion, or form, you should be dealt with accordingly. But however, pause for effect, we don't even give a third of that effort when it happens to our men, when it happens to our boys.
Nobody even discusses that it was R. Kelly's older sister that essayed him and his brother, and nobody's ever addressed her about that.
For his entire life. His entire life. His entire childhood, he had a vagina in his mouth and breast in his face, and then you wonder why he can sing about it, sex so good. He's been doing it longer than any other man.
His brother talked about
exposure at a young age.
Operator, if you're listening, I want you to play that the next video. We're getting ready to transition and to the next topic.
We don't talk about how a lot of men get sexually assaulted. First of all, the men don't see it as sexual assault because we program men to always like sex, to never say no to sex. If you say no to sex, you're gay. Like so many guys I have met that'll be like, my first sexual experience was my babysitter touched me. Because y'all be exposed to it at such a young age, you're mentally kind of worn out. Sex starts with the mind. Like sex is, for guys, really mental. Cause
months later, Turd woke me up from a blackout on the couch to take advantage of me. Oh, you okay? You okay? You survive. You survive. You got taken advantage of by a girl that you called Turd. No. Hope you're okay. Hope you're okay, big boy. Do it again. You okay? Did you survive? You're scared. You have PTSD. Must be so hard for you to now.
Cardi B was famous. She would drug men and rob them of all their belongings, and this is how she would support herself. This isn't anything surprising because she admitted to doing this more than 3 years ago. And later she defended her actions and mocked the people who were calling her out because she drugged and robbed people. And a few days later, everybody moved on. Nobody gave a shit. Just imagine the outcry that would happen if a man drugged a woman. Oh, wait. Yeah, that did happen. Matter of fact, the entire fucking world was angry and got involved. And rightfully so. I mean, these two dickheads committed really horrible crimes. But so did Cardi B. These two guys both went to prison after lengthy trials because they both claimed they were innocent. But Cardi B multiple times admitted to drugging and robbing men. And since then, she's been scot-free and her net worth has gone up. If this isn't a double standard, then...
let's go to this hotel. And I drug niggas up and I robbed them. That's what I used to do. Nothing was gonna fucking happen to me, my nigga. Nothing. So for a bitch to motherfucking say that I don't deserve shit, that's when I know that they fucking bugging. Cause they do not fucking know the shit that I used to do so niggas can see me out. Cause nobody wanted to help me. Nobody wanted to fucking help me, my nigga. Nobody wanted to help me put me on Love and Hip Hop. Niggas wanted me to be stuck in the strip club. And then when I got on Love and Hip Hop, nobody wanted me to fucking think. Nobody wanted to help me with my mixtape. Nobody. I had to do everything on my own. That's why I go so hard, and that's why I be so grateful. Like when I find out like people like Gabriel Union want to give me a rope.
But Cardi B was drugging and robbing men, and then she's still the most celebrated female rapper today, and she actually did that.
Either. What's wrong?
What's wrong with drugging and robbing people? Did you really just say what's wrong with drugging and robbing women and you want to raise kids in a year? You have baby fever and you don't know that it's wrong to drug and rob people?
We're not all perfect. I'm sorry. You want me to say? I don't know.
What? Yo,
that just goes to show
the double standards,
the crazy
man.
world we live in,
Rick
man.
Ross made a song about doing it.
He lost his Reebok sponsorship. He lost a lot of money. Yeah, people boycotted him when he made that song. Like you ain't you know it. He got, but like Cardi B
is the queen of rap.
No consequences for that.
Queen of rap.
She's still one of the most influential women in the United States, despite that bullshit.
He's very
You know,
and all of you listen to her.
There's an attack on masculinity, and we're going to talk about
Isn't
it.
that proof enough that men are oppressed in the West? On the opposite side, it's celebrated. And it's like, what's wrong with drugging and robbing women? That the amount of delusion.
I dropped a perk in his drink, and I don't give a damn. Nope, so don't.
If a nigga cheat on me, I'm be that guy. I'm gonna take him out. We're gonna get drunk. I'm gonna get him all perked up and everything. We're gonna have a good time. Get him super twisted. Then bring a bitch around. We're gonna have a threesome. And when he wake up, he gonna be like, what the fuck? Yeah, because the bitch was a tranny. I'm be like, yup, we had a threesome with a tranny.
Go to your room.
Listen.
This is shit that
She's been saying it.
She just said that.
She's been saying this. She's been saying this.
You can't handle the truth.
She has the nerve to be self-righteous and sue Tasha K. But you ratchet.
Listen, this is things that are being said, and your young sons are hearing this. Hey, operator, can you put that super chat up on the screen real quick?
Hold on, you come back up. You said
King
dog.
NJ said Rick Ross said something similar to what Cardi B, and actually he did lose deals. That is correct. Rick Ross, he said, I put a thing in her drink, took that home and enjoyed. She didn't even know it.
That was just a rap. It wasn't like him.
Exactly.
Going
She said she coming
crazy,
back up. She
like
been in
on
the
the
refrigerator.
internet, just hitting it over and over and over again. Because people don't lose their deals for saying that they shot people. People don't lose their deals for saying that they deal drugs. So, I mean,
but the reason why is because women complained. Women complained about the lyric. So when women don't complain, when Cardi B says the same things about these women should do this to your sons, and you don't say nothing, the moms don't say nothing, community don't say nothing. So guess
dance
what?
to her song in the club. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Deals. She don't lose shit. She don't lose nothing. She don't lose a damn thing. You are literally women, and I'm saying this because you are the mothers. You are the mothers. By your actions, you are teaching young men that it's okay when it happens to me, but it's not okay when it happens to y'all. Hadouken! I'm supposed to just deal with it. I'm supposed to go somewhere and just bottle it up and deal with it. Because she told me that if I don't do it, she's going to tell everybody, and then they're going to laugh at me, and they're going to make fun of me. So I didn't say nothing. And then I continued to lie to myself and make it seem like I enjoyed it. Terry Crews. Y'all remember Terry Crews?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when he came out to the world and told everybody what happened to him when he was auditioning for certain positions? What did the black community do?
Crucify him.
Yeah.
Laughed.
They made jokes at him. They memes at him.
Laughed at him. Fucking laughed at him. You by that situation and circumstance right there, every black boy learned a valuable lesson. Don't say shit.
So is Alondra back in the queue?
Hey, operator, do we have Alondra back in the queue? No, I don't see her yet.
Okay.
Nope.
Dog knocked over the table.
So as soon as she get up, we'll let her explain her situation with her boys. But I've moved on to the men and how it is perceived and the reactions we get when it happens to us. I would say this, and I'm going to make a very bold statement right now. And I want anybody who thinks that I'm not being honest or I'm telling a lie to please come up and correct me. But I would take, if I could take a poll of every man who ever had a sexual encounter with a woman when he was intoxicated or high, whether the intoxication was from alcohol or prescription drugs, whatever the case may be, and he had a sexual encounter with a woman that resulted in a child, and he was not in a relationship with that woman, that man was sexually assaulted, and a child was a result of that sexual assault. I can go to say that the majority of men who are single fathers to women that they never had a relationship with are victims of SA. That's right. I said it. Victims of SA to that woman. And not only are they victims of SA, but they now have to pay for the child that was delivered from that SA, just like those kids. Just like those kids, just like those kids, just like those kids that we talked about a half hour ago. The little boys that were sexually assaulted by their teacher that resulted in a child, and then they're going to have to pay for that child for the rest of that child's life. So you think just because you can accept it happening to a little boy, it can't happen to a grown man?
It absolutely can.
Because in Okinawa, Japan, I woke up in my homeboy's apartment right by the seawall with a woman on top of me that I did not know. I pushed her ass into the wall, searching and begging and hoping and praying that I could find a condom. How many men have woke up next to a woman and was damn near about to cry, begging God that he could find a condom with his seed in it? Oh, it's about to get very unfucking comfortable right now. How many men? Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. You woke up in a hotel room. You woke up in her bed. You woke up in your bed. How many movies have we seen it where the dude wakes up and he looks over and there's some decrepit, ugly ass woman on his arm and he's trying to get out from underneath her and slide out the room? That's SA. You cannot take a man and fuck him and to the point where he doesn't even know what the fuck is going on. And just because he's got whiskey dick, we even got a term for it. It's called whiskey dick, right? Henny dick, right? That's funny. It's funny. He's so fucking drunk, he don't even know. Just because he can fuck. A healthy dick will get hard for nothing. We wake up in the motherfucker hard. Especially gonna get hard if you play with the bitch. Miss Man, you better stop.
Shit!
This is not funny. See?
Shit!
This ain't.
What's crazy is, so I've taught a sexual assault class, right? And that's when like consent has to happen, like that whole message came out. And I don't think anybody expected that a part of my message when I was teaching the class was drunk men can't give consent either. And I made a point to put that in there because even with the military training that they had, it was never alluding towards that. It's always, I mean, it's in everything we see. Like even in our trainings, it's always a woman who is the victim of sexual assault. So now that I'm a sexual assault advocate and I've been teaching classes, I make sure to put that, make that statement and put it out there that men, if you are drunk, that is still not consent. If you have alcohol in your system to the point where you don't know where you are or what you're doing or who you're doing it with, that is still rape. And the looks that I get are like shock, and it's from the men and the women, but like it's shocking because it's not even put out there. Like it's not put out there, it's not portrayed, it's not displayed anywhere for that idea to even populate to people. Like that's not even something that I don't even think resonates with a lot of people.
I'm gonna make the commercial. I swear to God. I'm promise every man that's watching right now. I got over 200 people all together. I promise every man right now, I am going to use my own money. I'm gonna play the male victim. I'm gonna be in the bed. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna throw the cover, and I'm gonna be running around the room because I know it happens because it happened to me. I can describe this shit, but at the time it was happening to me, I could never fathom myself as a victim. Not 6'4", 270 fucking pounds. I can't be the victim. I fucked up. And guess what? When a woman says the exact same thing, what do? We grab her, we hold her, we say, "No, baby, that's not you. That's not your fault. That's not your fault, baby. That's not your fault. No, he shouldn't have done that to you."
Do you remember Mary Kay Letourneau?
Say again?
The teacher that married the 13-year-old boy, Mary Kay Letourneau?
Yes.
Trying to get out of a charge.
She married him.
Yeah.
Divorced her. Her husband divorced her. She married that 13-year-old boy and had 3 children with him. And everybody just kind of swept that under the rug. Nobody really talked about the seriousness of that. Nobody really. If that had been a 30-year-old man with a 13-year-old girl, We'd have never heard the end of it.
Hey, operator, put that last comment on the screen by Miss Pool Queen, your Pool Queen. Men don't want to be looked at as weak if they report SA. That is not that message couldn't be more true. Because they know that the male officers are going to laugh. They know that everybody's going to laugh. Imagine this, ladies. I want you to imagine for a second, living in a world where you don't even have the freedom to go and report SA without everybody in the community, including your own peers, making you a mockery, laughing at you hysterically. You've seen the video. Oh shit, he done woke up, boy.
What's up, Peter?
What's up, Mr. Anderson? And
good,
just,
everybody.
And just so y'all know, I think Mr. Anderson might be joining the network. I don't know. I think we may have to. I'm talking to the owners to see if we can draft him over to the team. We're trying to draft all the major players over to the team. What's going on, Doc? Have you been listening to it so far?
Yeah, I've been listening to it. Yeah, we sacrifice our male boys. We sacrifice them. And you know what? And then we complain. We complain that they're not what they should be in the community.
Oh shit! Wait. Drop a motherfucking bomb on that goddamn shit. Get the fuck. We sacrifice them and then blame them and look at them. Well, why are you always just worried about sex? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Or why
now,
you just,
we sacrifice them. And every time that something happens wrong, we say, why you not up to par? Why you not being this way? Why you not being leaders? Why y'all so soft? Why y'all not hard enough? Or why you too hard? Every turn of the way, we sacrifice our boys. And the answer is, it's their fault why they were sacrificed. You step back and you look at this and it's a shame. And then when we get on these podcasts and they wonder why there's so much male content nowadays talking about the wrongs that they have been done all their life, and we comparing notes with one another as men, and the women are upset. But it doesn't matter, because tomorrow they'll sacrifice another boy and say, don't go on that podcast. Don't go in that room. Us boys are sacrificed in our society, in our community.
I've heard my entire life, as far as back as my memory can go, I've heard about Catholic preachers and little boys. A situation and circumstance that still exists today. Why, ladies? Why? Why is it okay for us to know that there is a location in your city or town that little boys are taken to and grown men are taking advantage of them, and you do nothing? Nothing. Swipe it under the rug. Don't tell nobody. It didn't really happen. Be quiet. You got lucky. You should be proud. The first time, I'm confident in myself. I don't mind sharing my story at all. First time I ever went down on a woman, I was 16 years old and she was damn near 40. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't have a clue. She told me she wanted to teach me something. She said, I'm going to teach your little cute ass something. She said, come on up here. It was an apartment building off of Shawnee Bypass. I was visiting one of my friends in the neighborhood. And only reason why we went over to those apartments is because my friend had a girl that he was trying to holler at. And she was up on the balcony and she's like, ooh, who's that little cute boy? I was already 6 foot something, skinny basketball player. She's like, oh, and of course, you don't want to sound like a punk, so she talking shit. And I said in front of my friends, oh, this ain't what you want. Couldn't tell you the parts of the pussy. Didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. But of course, you ain't gonna sound like a punk. So I'm like, oh, this ain't what you want right here. She's like, come on up here. I'll teach you something. Of course, what did the dude
But the fact that she has to say that she's going to teach you in the first place already indicates that she has an idea that you don't know what you're doing.
We were on bikes. we were on bikes. I hadn't got a license yet. I hadn't got a car yet. We were still on bikes. I just turned 16. I remember I got a bike like almost a car right before my 17th birthday. But we were on bikes. She knew what we were. But my boys was like, oh shit. What you gonna do, son? What you gonna do? So I put my bike over on the side, went upstairs, sat down. She took me in the back and told me what to do. And I still was fucking up. But then, I remember being down there and like, ugh, why do people do this? I'm not joking. I'm like, why would anybody want to do this? Like, ooh. And I'm just like, I was a kid. I didn't know. But if y'all think this ain't happening to your sons, think again. Because those know. They know they're not going to go tell. They know they're not going to be mad. They know they're not going to feel like a victim because this is what America do.
So let me ask you a question. Is all this single parenthood help contributing to all this illicit sex with boys since they don't have no husbands and they don't have no man in their house to fulfill that?
Some of them do though.
Oh, but I'm saying, I'm just asking a question for those that I don't want a man, need a man, and ain't no husband. I don't need no husband. So now you still have that natural desire for a man, but you don't have a husband in your house, but you still got those needs.
Miss Met.
That's deep.
Come on.
I never even thought of that.
Hold on, Miss Met. Why do you think that the boys of the house become the man of the house?
Son husbands. Son husbands.
Don't. Look, I ain't gonna say.
As a single woman.
Hold on. As a single woman, hold on.
I'm asking a question.
Now you go to this reality of boys and how son husbands are created. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They have an origin story. Let me tell you something.
You're not saying that they fucking their son.
What people don't no.
Okay.
No. I'm gonna tell you this right now. There's plenty of stories of babysitters that's coloring up and letting the boys cuddle up with her, touch on her. She's kissing on his cheeks and kissing on him like they boyfriend and girlfriend in the bed laying down.
Oh hell no!
Now, what do you think some of these mothers are doing when they come home late at night and they crying and the boys see their mama crying because she's having a tough time out in the world because she's a single mother, whether it's with her relationships, whether it's at her job. You don't think she's coming to the king of the house?
Of course.
The new man of the house?
Of course.
You don't think he don't see his mama coming there? What's wrong, mama? Hold on. What's wrong, mama? You don't think she's coloring up with him and saying, you my man, you my baby, I'll never leave you, like she would do a man? And now he feels like a man. You don't think she's kissing him on the forehead, kissing him on the cheek, cut him up, and he wiping her tears like a man should? Not her little son, not her little son, husband.
Mm-hmm.
He playing the role of a husband, and he's just a boy.
And then he's the man of the house. What they say? Well, you the man of the
And
house.
then when a man tries to come in the house, he's sizing up that man like he's a man. He's the guard dog of the house, and he's just a boy. He wear the pants in the relationship, but he's just the son of the relationship. Y'all gotta understand what these men psychologically go through dealing with single mothers.
Oh, hold on. We got a cash. Hold on. We got a super chat. Thank you, lovely Jabri. Am I saying that right? She said, please keep raising awareness to save our boys and men. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
And I appreciate you for saying that, because we're gonna keep on doing it. We gotta understand that it's an issue what Miss Met brought up, and we don't really think about it. I can tell you as a boy that I had babysitters, and it was all like that. I had older women that we used to go visit their house, and the family used to visit their house, and in the back room they caressing me, kissing my cheeks. And they older girls. I'm 9 years old, 8 years old. A lot of boys done went through this. Imagine what that woman is doing with her son husband.
Tawana, I know you want to respond. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. So the thing is, I have been in a place, right, where I noticed that my son was acting out of character. Like my oldest was acting out of character. And I'm like, why are you acting like that? And I had to have the conversation with him. And that response was, because I have to be the man of the house. Now, I've never taught my son that. Never said it to him. I said, you're responsible when I'm not here. But if things go crazy, you should always talk to me, right? And then I realized one of my friends who was a Black man said, you're putting too much responsibility on him. I said, well, shit.
Now, let me tell you what comes with that. See, when he believes he can run your house, even though you ain't never pushed that, even though you ain't never put that in his head, now he thinks he can run another woman's house.
Yeah.
And he will tell a woman, well, I am the man of the house in my house. I take care of this. I take care of that. Hell, he even probably make up some shit, because I only cared about sports. I was a late bloomer when it came to girls. I wasn't thinking about no girls when I was that young. All I cared about was sports. That was it. I wanted to be the greatest basketball player, greatest football player. All I did was practice and watch other highlights. That's all I did. But when it was introduced to me, when it was brought to me, it was always an older woman. Girls my age didn't even like me because I didn't sell drugs. You know, I didn't have shit. But the older women, my boss, my first job ever. It wasn't my first, it was my second job. It was my first job where I actually worked inside a building, because the first job I was a delivery boy. I worked inside the Kettle. It was a restaurant, and I did the graveyard shift. Graveyard shift all night long. You know, we got busy between the times of 1:30 in the morning to about 4 o'clock in the morning when everybody got out the club. My boss, my manager, that next morning took me home to her house. I gotta silence that. Took me home to her house, and then had sex with me, right? And then didn't even give me a fucking ride home.
Wait, what?
Just showed me the fucking door. I had to walk. I thought I got lucky.
Can I interject one thing?
Please.
These damaged young men, young teenage boys grow up to be damaged men which choose damaged women to be wives. I'm gonna say that again. Since this is not, they say it's not affecting, we're not protecting our boys. We so interested about these girls, but these damaged young boys grow up to be damaged teenage boys, which grow up to be damaged young men, which grow up to be damaged husbands and damaged fathers who pick damaged women.
We got a super chat. Can you go ahead and put that on the screen, operator? And she manipulates him, stands in the way of him having a relationship with a woman, so he doesn't leave home.
That's what my forever man. I don't want a man, need a man, so I'm gonna make my son my husband.
Now watch this. I got one more video I want us to watch, and then I got another point I want to make. Operator, if you could play that last video for me, please.
So when I was around 12 or 13 years old, I was sexually assaulted by one of my older brother's girlfriends. She had to be every bit of 24, 25 years old. She invited me over one day to watch anime when my mom wasn't home, and that's when it happened. And all I can remember from that moment is being intimidated, right? So intimidated is that when I became into adulthood, I tried to outperform and overperform sexually with women. If I was denied sex by a woman or told that my performance wasn't the best, it would hit me a whole different type of way, right? And I would go and have sex with even more women just to prove that I can perform highly when it comes to sex. See, women may looked at me as having good sex, but the truth is I was really trying to prove myself to that lady that sexually assaulted me back when I was 12 or 13 years old, right?
That one hit me, because that was, I want y'all to understand what he said. In the very beginning, he said, if I was denied sex, it would enrage him. Y'all got to understand that these dudes, including me, I was one of them, who is trying to perform so well in the bedroom, is because he's trying to outfuck his trauma. He's trying to show himself that I can be good at this. I can be great at this because that person hurt me and then laughed at me and put me in a position where I didn't know if I was adequate enough to satisfy a woman because I was a child. So now I'm going to fuck every woman to the best of my ability and learn everything I possibly can to make her shake and squirt and do any and everything I can. Why? Because I'm trying to outrun my trauma. I'm trying to outrun what happened to me as a little boy, because I don't want to ever feel, hey, I don't ever want to feel that feeling I had back then. You thought it was about you. You thought I was fucking you so good just because I was just so good. No, it was me jumping from woman to woman to woman to woman to woman so I could prove to myself that I'm a man. I'm a man. And when y'all hear a man get enraged because he asked you for his number and you said no, he asked you for your number, he became irate, he became enraged, he started flipping the fuck out, threatening to hurt you physically. That is something within. Message happened to that boy. And he's trying to use you as what? As something to heal himself with. Self-medication. He's self-medicating with your body. Is that fair to you? No. Is it right? No. But you got to sit back and look at what's happening to us. I want y'all to hear this real quick. I was a security. I worked security at a club at one point. This is when I was young. The female security guards and the male security guards had two different sets of rules. If somebody ever touched the female security guard, what do y'all think we did to them?
Lock them up.
Throw their ass out the club. Fuck them up and throw them out the club. We didn't just throw them out the club. We fucked them up and threw them out the club. But when I was there with my tight security shirt on, and the fucking owner came and asked me, did I want to work there? I didn't even know that they had a vacancy. She's like, hey, you want a job? I was like, doing what? She's like, look, I just need you to put on this shirt and just look good. Just be over here. You ain't got to really do nothing. Me and my roommate and another friend of ours, we all worked at this club called Dragons on Gate 2 Street. This was like back in like 2010. And when I tell you, every woman, damn near all of them, touched one of us wherever the fuck they wanted to touch us. Anytime they wanted to touch us. And what happened to the women?
Nothing.
You're given a free pass to assault men in any fucking way you want, especially when you're drunk. Especially when you're drunk. Especially when you're intoxicated. Y'all grabbing dick and balls and ass and trying to kiss people with your drunk ass, throw up ass, stinking ass breath. Y'all doing all kinds of shit. If men did half, woo, I'm about to crack it open. If men did half, woo, hashatabo, Jesus, Jesus. If men did half of the bullshit y'all did, 99% of the men existing would be locked up in jail. Tell me I'm lying.
No, you telling the truth.
No.
So, again, ladies watching, again, why is this so? Why is this so? Why is it that we live in a world where your sons, your boyfriends, your husbands, your fathers, your uncles, your nephews, they can all be sexually assaulted, raped, and anything else, but you care not. And why I say you care not is based off of your reactions and the results. Show me anywhere where men or women are being held accountable the same way men are. Because if you touch a little girl and go to prison and those prisoners find out, Peter, what's going to happen? He done. He's not even going to get to finish his sentence. He's not even going to get to serve his sentence. Let them find out you touched a little girl.
He ain't serving his time. He ain't even get to finish.
He gone.
Gone.
Life over. That's how we hold our side accountable. But what happens to women when they touch little boys and get pregnant and put them on child support? What y'all doing?
For what I see, they just laugh.
What the fuck are the women doing? What are y'all doing?
They laugh and they think it's funny and
hey,
or advocate. Or advocate.
Put Jessica Mueller comment on the screen.
What I just said.
It's a joke, y'all. It's funny.
Let me say that. Let me say this real quick. You know what you got to understand is you got to understand the psyche of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these boys are being raised by single mothers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And guess who's telling them how to be a man?
Their mamas.
Their mothers, women. They are programmed that women tell men how to be men.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they're going around to women trying to please them because that's what men do. And that makes him feel like a man. But see, women got to understand, and they got to understand that women don't tell men how to be men. Other men do. That's a man's job to tell other boys growing up how to be men. Women don't have access to that. Women are not the correctors of men. Women don't understand what a man actually is. Men, real men would do this. You don't know what a real man is because if you did know what a real man is, you wouldn't have got pregnant by not a real man. So now women are running to talk shows all my life, trying to tell me what a real man is. That's not your job. You out of order, sis. Men tell you what a real man is. Men make men. Women don't make men. And that's the problem. So they are having sex with women to try to feel and let other women know I'm a real man. A real man could please you. A real man would do what the woman of life will tells him what to do, even if it's destructive to him and the rest of the people around him, and even to herself. That's what a real man would do, and that's what he's being told by the women. So we got to understand that men determine what real, in quotations, men are. Not you ladies.
And also, and I want to say to Jessica Mueller, okay, I'm sorry. When she put up the laughing emoji, she was saying she was just laughing when I was doing the whole preaching thing. Okay, sorry about that. I thought she was laughing at the content because we're just so used to it. And I'm sorry if I identified you. Yeah, it's not even just one man. It's a plethora of men who we take small things from. We take something from this man, something from that man, something from this man, something from that man, and then we encompass it all together to create who we want to be.
Miss, this is the thing too. You know, when mothers don't include the children, the father of their children in the child rearing, and they use those children as to say, okay, I'm gonna raise my son how I want to raise my son. He don't need no daddy. You take yourself out of himself out of you take him out of the position of having the right, like he said, right. It's a rite of passage for a young man to have a father to teach him how to be a man, because you can't teach him how to be a man like he just said. You can teach him how to be a woman.
You know the conversation that little boys never get when they don't have a father? A father's first time. A father's first time. And if I had a son, I would talk to my son not about the actual first time, but the first time and how it should have been. To try to guide him into making sure that his first time is the same way. You had something you wanted to say, Tawana?
No, I was waving at my boys. They just walked in.
So, hey, they can hear this. It's fine. I believe that is probably one of the most crucial conversations that a lot of young boys miss out on.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Do you think that this problem was as prevalent as you repeated this question when there were more husbands in the household?
Fuck no. Hell no. It couldn't have been, because this is something just like girls talk to their mom about everything. Guys don't talk to their mom about everything. We're
Right.
not going to tell you about the first time we ejaculated.
Right.
We'll tell our dad.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to tell you about the first time that we touched a vagina or a breast. Some guys will. I think some dudes are really comfortable with their mother and they'll tell them that. But there's just some things we just can't. We can't tell you that. It's just too embarrassing. But with our dad, you know, with another man, but I didn't have access to grown men as a kid. Not a plethora of grown men that I had a close relationship like that to, that I was talking to on an everyday basis. I had uncles that we would talk to every once in a while, but not like a father who was in the room with you every day, every night. I had my grandfather, which if it wasn't about work, he wasn't wanting to talk about. If it wasn't about school or work, he wasn't a real talkative man. But the last thing that I really want to make sure that we focus on is I want to talk to the men that are listening right now that happen to be victims that are trying to deal with this. I want to talk to the men that are literally contemplating taking their life because they're still dealing with this. Men outnumber women, unaliving themselves on a drastic measure. And this is one of the leading causes, but I guarantee you it's not documented. I guarantee you there's no study. Because guess what? You can't ask a dead motherfucker nothing. You can't ask a dead person nothing. But I promise you, I would bet any amount of money I have that this is one of the leading causes of men unaliving themselves because they're still dealing with this shit. I think it's even a cause for some men to not want to deal with women at all sexually. That's right, I said it. I believe this could be a cause for some young men not wanting to deal with women sexually ever again because something like this happened as a little boy and they do not see women sexually anymore because fatality. They were so traumatized. And so they look at men as something that is sexy because they're disgusted by women because of what happened to them.
It's distorted. It's distorted because it's distorted. I get what you're saying because the innocence was taken from someone of the opposite sex. So like Tawanda was saying, it's distortion, and they put that energy and that focus on the same sex. But like I keep saying this, and y'all get mad if I keep saying this, but when women had husbands in the 20s, 30s, and 40s before the civil rights movement, I just don't believe this was happening like this. Like at this alarming rate. You have so many women that do not have a husband. That is the problem.
And second of all, you didn't have children alone as much.
Exactly. Boys are left. Let me say this. Boys are left to run around. When I was growing up, I had to be home at a certain time. I could not be in the streets.
All girls, all daughters.
But boys are left to roam, rip and run and roam the streets. And the mama say, well, I don't care as long as they don't bring no babies home.
Just put a condom on. Make sure you got some condoms.
And we found out it was the single mothers that gave their boys condoms. Like, here, go ahead.
Exactly.
Here the condoms.
That's what I heard. Well,
when they run out, here's some more. I just don't want no babies here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
But fathers don't do that.
Babies themselves. They're babies. Those are babies.
They look at that as he not here to be getting on my nerves. This is what I heard. Aggravating.
You shouldn't be a mom.
He hungry. Asking me what I'm bored and all that stuff. But girls, we had to be home. They was teaching us about tending to a house. But a lot of boys that I grew up, they was left to rip. That's how they got involved in drugs, selling drugs, using drugs, dope selling and stuff, because they were left to rip and run the streets. And I just don't think it's right that, okay, you want to protect your daughters, you want to protect them, but you sending your 12 and 13-year-old, he don't have any accountability for what he doing throughout the day.
Well, I'm going to tell you that until we get this message out to mothers and fathers and the community, it's going to get worse. It's just going to get worse because the predator knows. They've known. They can see it in your actions. They're watching how you react. They can read the laws. Do you know you can't even charge a woman with rape? You can't even do it. You cannot charge a woman with rape.
What you talking about?
I say it again. Go look up the law. You cannot charge a woman with rape because the law is written by force penetration. A woman can't penetrate you.
I think that's changing. Honestly,
They're
I hate
only
it.
going to charge her with SA, sexual assault, which rape is a form of sexual assault.
Okay, I see what you're saying. The actual
It's just a
definition
different
of rape
form.
was sexual assault.
It's just a
Okay,
different
yeah,
form, right?
yeah.
So that now that we have that understanding, and now that we went over all these different examples, we've shown where children are literally programmed through television, movies, and music that boys having sex with grown women is something to be, you should dream of this happening to you. This is a lottery ticket. This is glorified, right? So that's one thing. Yes, that's one thing that we have to tackle. You need to go and look at all the movies you got that are available to your boy.
Weird Science.
Yes. Stella got a group. All these movies that show older women having sexual encounters with young men, and it is able to be watched and purchased and shown because all these situations and circumstances, if I reversed it, now it's disgusting. Let's think of some real life situations and circumstances that you could talk about with your son. I want y'all to imagine there are 4 women sitting at a table at a bar, all buying drinks, and your son walks in there, 18 years old. He can go in. 18 years old. And they say, hey, come here, boy. You sure is looking good. Where your girlfriend? And I know your fine ass got a girlfriend. No, I ain't got no girlfriend. So what you drinking on? I ain't old enough to drink. Don't worry about it, baby. I'm going to get you some. What you want? And she starts slipping him drinks, and the other girls slipping him drinks. And they all talking about, we going to take this boy home, and we gonna show him a time tonight.
Fatality.
Guess what happens when he tells his friends what happened? They're like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you serious? That happened to you? And guess what? Everybody in the damn bar is watching this happen. Everybody's just like, oh, that boy gonna get lucky tonight.
Yep.
Now, Tawana, I want you to tell the same story, but switch the genders.
Which story?
The story I just told.
Okay.
Switch the genders.
Oh. You're 18. You're a young lady. Walk into a club or a bar. Obviously, you can't drink. And you have a group of 4 guys. And they're at the bar. And they say, hey, what you drinking on tonight? I can't drink. I'm 18. Don't worry, I got you.
Now,
I mean, it sounds creepy. It's hard for me to even finish it. But in both, in both situations,
you're right. But guess what? That's because you are a mother, a concerned mother of your sons. What I'm trying to tell you is this is the society you about to release your boys into.
I know that's scary. It terrifies me. Like, just
and if one of the raggedy motherfuckers get pregnant, not only are they gonna say that, and if he try to say something like they did something to him, they got him drunk, they put something in his drink, what they gonna say, Tawana? What they gonna say to the police if he try to go report them? What they gonna say he did?
He consented. He was 18. And he had
right,
a drink.
though. That's
Take the test
They should say
that was a lie.
Wait, what?
You need to go watch. Need to go watch
He's
it.
gonna say, well, he raped me.
And another movie they need to go watch is The Graduate. Do you remember that movie? And Loverboy.
That's the ace in the hole. That's the reason why most men don't even report. Because if I go report that my 6'4", 275-pound man ass got raped by a woman, what's she gonna report?
The lies. There you go. This bitch. I'm telling you.
That's exactly what she gonna say. Oh, you talking about Mark McBride? Oh no, let me tell you what really happened. And now she has my DNA. It's my word versus her word. And
you're gonna lose
every day.
Every time.
So it's
every doggone time.
So who has to change this? Who has to be the one that's advocate for change for this, Tawanda? Who has to change this? The men
it's gonna have to
speaking
be
out
all
about
of
it.
us. It has to be all of us. It has to be a mentality change for all of us. It can't just be the moms. It can't just be the men. It can't just be the boys. It has to be a cultural change. We don't allow our men to be victims or traumatized because we tell them, you got to be strong.
But who is the benefactor of these scenarios?
Who's the beneficiary of these scenarios?
In those scenarios, it's the woman.
So just like white supremacy, are they rushing to come help us?
No.
No, because they are the beneficiaries of that system. But guess what? They're the only ones that can destroy white supremacy. The only ones. We can't make them destroy it because they benefit from that system. So if the women benefit from the system, then who has the power to destroy the system? The women.
Ooh, shit.
Thank you, Peter.
God damn, Peter.
That's great.
So I mean, I was thinking of it from a total different aspect. I'm like, how can we ask the victims to fix the predators that made them the victims? Like,
they shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to say, please, grown woman, don't rape me.
No, this is the
please, grown woman, don't take advantage of me. Please don't groom me. Please don't
this
traumatize me for life. That's crazy.
This is the thing. Women have to be advocating for women to be charged with that word.
SA, rape. Hey, we ain't on TikTok. You can say whatever the fuck
That
you
they
want.
need to be charged with rape. We gotta get out here and campaign and vote in large numbers for everything else.
Hell, what is the deterrent from a woman who is having those thoughts? What's the deterrent? She knows she ain't stupid. She done went on the internet and checked what she can get charged with. She done went and checked how much possible time she can get. And guess what? I ain't never, ever, 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 ever heard of a woman losing any goddamn thing for fucking a young boy. Never. Miss Met, that lady was talking about today, that principal who got caught fucking that child, and now she got dropped down to a what? A teacher.
A teacher.
How the fuck
you shouldn't be in no school around kids. You're a fucking predator. You shouldn't even be in a school around children. That's insane.
Well, her parent. Well,
hold on, y'all. We got a super chat. Let me read this. Hey, thank you, sir. He said, thank you so much for bringing this topic to light. I cannot wait to share this episode. I am so glad I found a channel on TikTok. You will have my continued support. I appreciate that too, sir. But this is not TikTok. We're on YouTube here, brother. And you can't get shut down over here, bro. I suggest y'all come over here and join me. Because TikTok is an opportunity for us to communicate. But I'm going to tell you, YouTube is a free place where you can speak your voice, and people who don't like what the fuck you got to say can't come and shut you down. They can't fucking record shit. They can cry. They can yell. They can scream. But we gonna still keep bucking these truth shots. That's why this show is called The Uncomfortable Motherfucking Truth. Because that's what we talk about. And if it makes you uncomfortable, the only thing you can do is take these shots or get the fuck on somewhere else. You're not going to shut me down.
I think this. I think people ought to be raising Hades about this situation with our boys.
It's destroying our men. Think about it. Imagine, let's take a second for us. Let's just take a second and think about the girls. We're going to move from the boys. We're going to talk about the girls just for a second, and then we're going to compare the two. I want y'all to think about a girl that you knew in your youth who was sexually or assaulted or promiscuous as a young girl, and how did she turn out? What are some of the symptoms we saw later on in life as a little girl when she was having sex too early with either an older boy or older man or something like that? Did it not affect her in long term? Yes or no?
Yes, she was promiscuous. She didn't care. She didn't care.
Have you ever known a girl who was involved with sexual intercourse at a young age? I can't hear you.
Yeah, definitely.
And what was different about her than the girls who weren't? Just give some characteristics.
She was promiscuous.
She was friendly.
She was promiscuous.
She was real friendly with the boys.
And she didn't have
friendly, right? Okay,
She
wait.
didn't have no shame.
Whoa. What about her dress?
Yeah.
She was
loose.
She dressed sexually, right?
And I'm gonna tell you this too, and we don't really talk about it. And most of these girls were raised by single mothers. No daddy in the house. They say, "Oh no, you ain't going outside with that like that. Not in my house."
They didn't have no shame.
And we're not saying that the mothers are allowing these daughters to go out the house like that. But guess what? Mother got to work 2 jobs. She ain't got time to raise and see what her daughter wear.
Put on birth control.
That's it. Put on birth control and go to work.
So it not only affected how she thought, it affected how she dressed herself. It affected how she talked to people. It affected the things that she wanted to do. Now, hear me. Now let's transition back. I want you to think about the men. I want you to think about the young men. Now, what can you tell different about young men who are having sex than young men who are not? What are the young men who are having sex trying to wear? What are they trying to purchase? What are they trying to do? Are they really want to make money? They want to have expensive things. They want to look a certain way. But a boy who ain't having sex, he don't give a fuck. He don't give a shit. He ain't trying to have no chain. He ain't trying to buy some ridiculous car. All he want to do is play his game. You can tell a virgin a mile away. They don't give a fuck. They don't care what people think about them. They don't care if they clean. They don't care if they stink. They don't care. They just want to eat and go play. So
because that's innocent. That's innocence that has not been taken away.
So I'm saying this so you mothers can start looking at your sons differently and be like, is my boy fucking? Why is he so concerned about cologne?
Daddies always know. Daddies always know, don't they?
You damn right. I pull him to the side and be like, who done gave you some pussy?
Just like mamas always know.
Why are you so worried about your hair all the time? Why are you so worried? Why are you shaving your underarms and your balls? What the fuck? I know what pubic hair look like, little boy. Why the fuck is you shaving your fucking pubic hair? Well, Dad, this girl, she told me she liked it better. What fucking girl? Well, she's not really a girl. It's such and such as mom. Every time I go spend a night over Derek's house, when he go to sleep, me and his mama do stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration? I didn't mean to do that. Please, continue.
So, while y'all thinking he's growing up, he's not just growing up. He's growing up. His nature is growing up. Every time he goes spending out of his friend's house, all of a sudden he got this one friend. He always want to go over that motherfucker house. What you need to start looking at that friend mama. Because if it was your fucking daughter, you wouldn't dare let her spend a night and some grown man is in that motherfucking house.
Because how many women would let their daughters stay the night with a
Wasn't
single
no
dad
spending the
home.
night. Wasn't nobody
Exactly.
spending the night.
And I don't do that. I
And that,
already
and
let
that
my
was when,
boys
and that was
know.
that
You
when,
can come
when I was
here.
coming up, that was even with family. We won't spend the night with no cousins, nobody. Wasn't no spending the night.
It's no spending the night. Now somebody
So
could come over here because I know I'm not a
Yeah.
predator. But you talking about we're not doing that. We're not doing that because you cannot try. You don't know how people are. People are sick.
You don't know
You
what's
don't
going
know
on.
that.
My
We have
mom
to
used to say,
protect our boys just as well as we do my boys
my
didn't
mom,
even know. No, somebody
my
could
mom,
come here.
my mom used to say, listen, I don't know what they got going on over there in their
Hello.
house, what they doing, but I know what's not going on over here. They can come over here and stay the
Exactly.
night, but you ain't going over there with them.
Listen, my daughters have the cousins or cousins over, and they have a sleepover. I'm in the midst. They all sleeping in the living room and sleeping bag. I tell them to bring their sleeping bags. We all sleeping in the living room. I'm sleeping on the couch with them, and that's it. And I'm watching everything because ain't nothing going on here. Because y'all be forgetting that that the cousins be touching the other cousins, and that's their first gateway. So,
And ain't
yep,
no sleep,
and that's exactly what I do. I make sure I'm in the midst. We
Yep.
play video games, we watch movies. I stay up as long with them. And then as soon as they fall asleep, I'm right there I'm on the couch and I'll sleep on the couch watching them at night, making sure they separate, making sure they're not too close. Everybody got their own space.
now, for all the men that are involved in their son's life, I'm going to give you something that you need to talk to your son about that you probably haven't before. This is a new threat, and unfortunately, it's probably going to make some of the people mad, but hey, it's called the uncomfortable truth for a reason. I swore to protect against all enemies, foreign
and domestic.
And I want you to talk to your sons about being persuaded into some type of sexual encounter with a woman that wasn't born a woman.
Shit.
You got women that wasn't born a woman that has got surgery. She had breasts like a woman. She has implants in her rear end like a woman. She has hair like a woman. She has eyelashes like a woman. She's getting the lips injections as a woman. And your son and his penis is a target.
And now they and so now they can change their actual sex on their birth certificates.
Birth certificate.
So how would he not know if he was actually
listen?
Baby pictures. I need a baby picture.
No, but I'm saying
if he's listen, and this is the sad part, and this is the part that fucking pisses me off. He can't even tell you because he's scared you're gonna laugh. He can't even tell you that a woman told him to come up into her apartment and she pulled out a whole dick. He can't even tell you. If you think he's scared to tell you that he was assaulted by a woman, what the fuck you think he's gonna think when he was assaulted by a man?
So ain't no way for him to know.
Because you're not having these conversations with your boys. You're not doing it. We had a thing in Okinawa. Tawana, I want you to tell me if you remember this. I don't know if y'all was ever given this brief. It was called Batman in Okinawa. Every time we gave our little weekend brief, we would tell our Marines, hey, watch out for Batman. It was a dude in Okinawa that was waiting on drunk Marines to try to get back to the barracks. And he would pretend like he's trying to help them. And he'd put them in a cab and he'd take them somewhere and he'd wear their ass the fuck out.
I tell your mama you ain't shit.
And then he would take a picture and write on there, if you tell, I tell. Polaroid, and leave it with them. They'd wake up in the morning UA, hungover, and a sore ass. And guess what they're not gonna do?
Tell.
You're goddamn right.
They're not.
Because
I worked in the ER, and you see, maybe, probably on average, I saw 3 a year, where men came and actually reported their sexual assault because they won't do it. They're taught to be ashamed of that. Maybe. But I can't count how many women I've seen come through with sexual assault. But I know it's happening. We know it is a thing. We know that it's happening. But it's just not talked about. It's not advocated for. It's just
because our men are told, they're already being told to shut up. When they talk about their pain, how they suffer, how they suffering, how damaged they are, they're already told to shut up. So can you imagine them expressing to them the realities of this stuff?
I'm going to say this, and this is probably going to be one of my last points of the night. Men, you got to stand the fuck up and say something. If you know good and goddamn well that that woman that has your child right now in her stomach and she stole your seed. That's right. I fucking said it. She stole it. Go to the police department tomorrow and report that motherfucker right now. And do everything you can as soon as that child leaves her womb to take full custody of your child and make sure she serves every fucking second that she deserves to be in that fucking prison. Because you, sir, yes, you can be a victim too. Just because you was drunk, it wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. You were intoxicated at a great fucking event. You were intoxicated at the Christmas party. You were intoxicated at the fucking Thanksgiving dinner. You were intoxicated at the game, which you are entitled to, sir, just like she is. She cannot be taken home and fucked because she was drunk. You're going to jail. So why is your punk ass, and that's right, I'm calling attention orders. Get your ass up and be a man. And go report. Get her ass arrested. And then if you have to break the news to your child later, that's just something you got to do. And if your child is already living and you don't want to tell the truth, you don't want to tell your child, you are a direct result of me being sexually assaulted by your mother. Terry Crews did it? Yes. They laughed at him. Yes. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Do what you got to do as a man. I'm here speaking loud for you, but it means nothing if you don't speak up for yourself.
Amen to that shit.
I'm gonna give everybody a chance to give their closing statements. I'm getting too emotional.
So I would definitely say we have to create a community where men feel comfortable to say what is happening, to speak out. Because unfortunately, everything is going to be judged off of numbers, right? Everything is a statistic. The only way we have the ammunition to be able to bring this thing to light, to back it, is for people to feel comfortable and for people to ask for help, admit what's happening. You are a victim and you have to be supported, but it has to be known. Even if you don't want to make it like an open case, you can still report it. You can report it anonymously, but the numbers have to be there. The proof has to be there, because otherwise you're just sitting and suffering in silence. So that's my closing statement. if you have something to say, if you are a victim, it's not your fault. And we can only support you if you ask for the support.
So I just want to add my last little piece. We have to be as diligent in protecting our young boys, our young men, as we are as protecting our young girls. And it starts with us. We have to start having those conversations with them little. And we have to stop excluding the men in our lives or the men that these children need in them to have these conversations with them. Thank you, Saul.
Yeah. Let me get my last statement.
You gonna insert this?
Yeah. Let me insert a tip. It's gonna be yeah. I'm gonna insert a tip. For the last 50 to 70 years, women have had the airwaves to sort out their grievances with men. Men have had the last 3 to sort out their grievances with women. So by my math, that means, ladies, you got 47 to 57 years to go. And y'all gonna be all right. Because we'll walk with you hand in hand. You ain't gonna go through this by yourself. So buckle up, ladies. There's more content to come. There's more sorting out to do. God bless you.
Appreciate that, sir. I want to thank all the guests that came on tonight. Can we give them a round of applause and sharing their stories? I know that this is a sensitive subject. I've dealt with many young Marines in their individual assaults, and I know that there were thousands of more that never said a mumbling word. But I've always been an individual that has never been afraid to say what was necessary. You can Google me, goddammit.
Sure can.
When I was active duty, I said things that everybody scolded me for. People came after my career, tried to get me, demoted and all kind of shit. But what they didn't know, I was already over 20 years and was already pending retirement, so didn't give an extra fuck. But if I felt like it needed to be said, I was going to say it. And I'm still doing it to this day. And I'll do it to the day I die. I will not stand by and have some type of information like this come across my knowledge and remain silent. Especially when I find myself to be part of the statistic. I suggest and I hope and I pray that everybody will share this content, clip it, post it, whatever you want, everywhere, so we can reach as many men as possible and let them understand that no, you weren't lucky. No, this was not something that was supposed to happen. And it's definitely not supposed to happen to your own sons. Please take the time to talk to your own sons, men and women, about this specific subject and every possible threat of it. Just giving your son a box of condoms is not enough. In fact, that is probably the worst option. Actually, here's an idea. Sit down with your son and have a fucking conversation and talk to him about the uncomfortable shit, not the birds and the bees. They've already been seeing that shit. It's the things that they don't know that they need you for. It's the holes in the ground that they need you to award them about so they don't fall in the same fucking hole.
Amen.
So, in closing, on this channel, I will always stand up for the truth, regardless of how uncomfortable it is. And I hope that all of you that are watching subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join me here again next week, Tuesday, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Atlanta Cast Network. This is The Uncomfortable Truth. Good night, everybody.